Hey guys, happy Sunday. I hope you are having a glorious Sunday and that the sun is shining wherever you are, or maybe you have some nourishing rains coming in. I hear that some of my friends overseas are experiencing another heat wave, so stay cool. Hopefully, I'll send you some cool vibes because it is, well, I mean, the sun just popped back out, but it's been like in between overcast and sun out. So it's been really nice to have not just hot. So anyway, hope you guys are having a great day. Before we dive into all the goodies we're going to dive into today, if you want to learn a little bit more about me, you can check out that description box down below, checking out my website, thesavagewild.com, maybe looking for ways to help support the channel, like through YouTube members or Patreon, or donating during our super chats and super stickers time. Although I will talk a little bit about that too later on. But before we start bashing YouTube, let's go ahead and make ourselves a wonderful tea for today. All right, so Siren is here. She said, first one here, woo woo. And she said she has a new roommate. Ooh, how do you like your new roommate? Hey, our buddy Time Harvest. He says, that's a pretty girl. Well, dude, it's been forever. We've been missing you. Everybody's been asking, where's Time Harvest at? So I hope that you are having a great day as well. Let us know what's been going on. And Lilith is here. She says, wild. Yay, yay, yay. How are you? Time Harvest said, Lilith. Like the wild part. I totally agree. Rawr. She said, it's good to see you, my friend. Costalini's here. Says, oh, the time changed. Yes, I wanted it a little bit earlier today instead of our regular 2 o'clock because tomorrow we are taking off for Colorado. So we're going to be doing a little bit of jeeping. And I found out one of our friends is already out in Colorado. So we're going to meet up with him. We're like, oh my gosh, like we're going to be in Colorado too. So he's off doing some sweat lodge stuff, some healing stuff. So in between that, he's going to go jeeping with us. So we'll be back before the next Sunday live chat. So I'll see you guys next week as well. And then I'll be able to tell you about all the GP adventures. But like I said, I just wanted to start the live chat a little bit earlier today so that we have more time in the evening after the chat so we can work on packing and our checklist, make sure we got all the tools we need, all the things we need. We got to bleed the brakes in our Jeep, and because brakes are good. And just double check that we don't leave anything, because although Colorado, where we're going, is not terribly far, but still 6 hours is far to be from things that maybe you really need. So we just want to make sure we have everything, just get all settled. But I can't wait to tell you guys about the trip next Sunday. So yay, I'm so excited. Time Harvest got the lion face. Lilith says, wow. Siren says, she is worlds better than my old roommate. We're getting along great. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're getting along swimmingly. That's wonderful. I'm happy for you. Lilith's like, take me with you to Colorado. Dude, I wish I could, because I remember you talking about the Colorado. I think you're out in the Rockies at some point. I was like, oh. So when I was like, I didn't think we'd be able to go, but turns out things kind of worked out. So we are going to be able to go, because we planned this like a year ago. And then we're like, oh, well, we can't go. Oh, well, maybe next time. But turns out it was going to be fine. And then I was like, wait, didn't Lilith go to Colorado? I was like, oh, I'm gonna have you there in spirit. I'll send you good Colorado vibes. Time Harvest says, did you guys actually mention me? I can't believe. Yes, we did, actually, in multiple live chats. I don't remember who was asking, but I do remember people in the chat were like, where's Time Harvest? We haven't seen him in a while. So everybody was like, surely he's got some stories to tell on his return. Lilith's like, yes, Estes Park. Of course, Time Harvest, we always miss you when you're gone. We'd even sing a song about it. We should put together a song. Every time we miss somebody in our chat, we'll sing our song. All right, you guys. I don't have a particular tea plan. Like usually I have some sort of tea in mind and some herbs that I'm going to use, but I thought it would be fun for me to create a tea based on an herb that you guys come up with. So hopefully I have that herb. So whatever herb comes to mind that you think would be cool for a tea, definitely not throwing pennyroyal or mandrake or, datura in my drink, but for another time. But yeah, throw out just an herb. And if I have that herb, I'll create a tea around that herb. I already have my kettle of hot water ready. I already have my mug ready. So yeah, okay. Time Harvest says, "Oh man, you guys making me feel special now." What? Lilith's Titanic theme song. I know. I'll never let go, Jack. I'll never let go. Siren said, "Peppermint. Mint has been haunting me lately." You got it. I love me some peppermint. So, and plus, it's like a revitalizer. And every time it's like it starts raining, which has been about 2 o'clock every day. I don't know, just has been making me so sleepy lately. I'm like, so I'm going to bed earlier, but then I want to sleep in. And so peppermint, I like it. I like it. Let's do it. Time Harvest said, "Thank you all for wondering about me. I love you all." And Lila says, "Just like the dude who dips his chocolate chip cookie in milk and sinks it to the bottom as he goes like, come back, come back." I love it. All right. So I have a new mug. Check it out that I'm utilizing. This actually came from a ranch that we visited not too long ago. It's called the X Diamond Ranch. It's not too far from us. Established in 1893. The woman who runs the ranch, she's descended from her family basically who's been here forever. And her grandmother had a restaurant in a place called Greer. And the name of it's called Molly Butler's, and that's actually the name of her grandmother. So we got to go there and like look at all. She's got like a museum on her place, and it's people that like donate stuff, and they just don't want it to like get lost in like the goodwill or what happens when people pass away and then their stuff just kind of like up and disappears. So a lot of really old cool stuff, like an old school like Nickelodeon and player pianos and stuff from John Wayne's ranch, which is actually not too far from that ranch. So I forget the name of his ranch. It's what? 26 far? Par? Well, anyway, it's not too far from this ranch. So we actually bought a cow. Well, we went in with our buddy that we're actually meeting up with in Colorado.
26 bar.
Oh, 26 Bar. That's the name of John Wayne's ranch. And so, although it doesn't belong to the Wayne family anymore, it got bought by the Hopis, since that is, their land and part of their reservation. But they have actually kept the name, and they've actually kind of kept it up, which I think is pretty cool. And the Hopi are an amazing people. So I'm glad that there was like that mix of that. So that's wonderful. But yeah, so we went half and half on a cow. So our buddy that we're meeting up with in Colorado, that's our cow buddy, our moo buddy. Anyway, so I get to use my new mug. I'm all excited about it. And our base, as Siren suggested, is going to be peppermint. So let me get down here to my peppermint. Time Harvest is laughing. Siren says, "My roommate just said there's a kangaroo loose in Missouri. Hey, got to keep those people on their feet, Lilith says, "Tara is a great interpreter." Time Harvest says, "Heart, law, rock." Okay. All right. So we have our peppermint, which actually has a little bit of my neighbor, Angie. Some of her peppermint is in my older peppermint. Plus, if I wanted to do a cold brew, which wouldn't be ready till tomorrow because I would do it in the refrigerator. There's the peppermint that's outside as well. Everything just all in bloom. And speaking of cows, oh my goodness. So you guys have seen my garden, and I have netting over some stuff like my tomatoes and some of the squash and things that I just don't want like the deer and stuff getting into, but the pollinators like butterflies and bees can get in because it's a big netting, so they get in there and they pollinate. And I have some tomatoes coming in. I'm super excited. Some beef steaks and some romas. I'm like, whoop whoop. Anywho, so not yesterday, but the day before, the dogs who we're taking care of our friend's dogs because she's off in Hawaii right now. She is spreading her mother's ashes. So if you guys want to just send some love her way and to her family while they are going through that would be much appreciated. So we're watching her animals at the moment. Anyway, so in the morning they were like, bark, bark. And, I'm just like, oh no, go back to sleep. Cause it was like the sun had just started coming up. So it was probably like 5, 6 a.m. I'm like, no, go back to sleep. But then I hear a cow and I can hear that it's in the yard. And the thought had crossed my mind that, oh my goodness, my lettuce and my peppers and basil, it's all exposed, but no, a cow wouldn't eat my garden, right? So anyway, when I finally did get up, I looked outside at what the dogs had been barking at. It was a cow eating my lettuce. But luckily the cow only ripped out one of the lettuce by the roots. The rest are still in and they still have their cores. So all is not lost. I think that they will be able to grow back, hopefully before the end of summer. And since we have good rains and sun and everything, that I think that they'll do okay. Everything regenerates, and turns out they didn't actually like my basil. Maybe they don't like lemon pepper basil, which is fine. Don't eat my basil. But they did eat my cayenne peppers, but they only ate them down halfway. So the peppers are still growing. They're fine. And my cool baby pepper that was growing, they didn't get that one. So now my baby pepper is that big. I'm like, oh, my little cayenne, you made it. So anyway, I've since put netting over that stuff too, but I was like, freaking heifers, man. But anyway, so yeah, so when we were talking about cows, that just kind of like popped into my mind. Okay, so let's see. We put some peppermint in. What else would I add with peppermint that I think would be pretty good? You know what? I'm going to add some ashwagandha root powder. It's also got a lot of uplifting vibes, good for memory and focus. So mental clarity, ashwagandha is your friend. Okay. Let's see. What else could we put in? Oh, a friend of peppermint, catnip. It's technically 2 mints, but that's okay. 2 mints can mingle inside of my tea. So there's some catnip, and I also have some catnip growing in a little pot in the front. I'm just putting like maybe a half a teaspoon in. And let's see. Who else do I want to add? Ooh, okay. This will be our last one. Damiana. That just sounds like it would be a wonderful name for a lady. Damiana. Damiana, won't you come down to the foyer? Okay, so we'll put a little half a teaspoon of that. Just good for the whole system, the nervous system, ladies as well. Really good, Damiana. Good for the heart. Also good for all that intuition. Okay, so let's see. We have our peppermint, we have our ashwagandha, we have our catnip, and the last one we just put in. Okay, all right. So let's add our hot water. Our Damiana. That was the last one. Yummy, yummy. So all of those little herbal friends put together are going to be really good for the central nervous system, good for the heart, good for the mind, good for our energy, revitalization, but also for the spiritual body as well, I feel. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this back. Oh, excuse me, stepping over fur balls. Okay, so yeah, X Diamond Ranch. That was really fun to visit. She's got a crazy amount of acreage, but got to learn a lot about like ranching, and just kind of like their world. Because obviously, I'm not a rancher. I don't know about the ranching politics and all of that. But it was just like interesting to learn how that came to be in our state, and feeding the people of the state, because there was at one time all these people here, because people were trying to settle in Arizona. And then there was like Fort Apache, all these like military people coming in because, obviously there was a lot of movement, moving natives to reservations. And then it's like, we have to feed the people on the reservations. And then we have to feed all the people, that are here with the military. And then you have, people who are coming out here to homestead, and, and they needed some food. And so, with these cattle, and learning how to grow all these things, they basically were feeding the state of Arizona. And they said, which they still are. And what doesn't really make the news is that, a lot of this, a lot of the land that's meant for farming, but also agriculture, and livestock and everything, it's kind of all going away, which means we have less and less to feed our own people here in the US. So it's not talking just about Arizona, but just kind of like all over the United States. They understand people wanting to preserve the land, which is why they're moving like livestock off, moving farming off, and that's the way they want to preserve it. But like my native ancestors, being stewards of the land, we learned you have to work the land in order to preserve the land. So, it's not so much just like, just leave the land so I can stare at it over there. As my native ancestors are like, work that land, tend that land. It's not just to be stared at, but it's to be worked with, because we have a symbiotic relationship. So it kind of like, it's something I kind of knew about, but then, when the woman who runs it, her name is Wink. Well, actually, it's her nickname, but nobody knows her by anything but Wink. So it was just interesting to hear like her opinion and her point of view, because it's all about just, she loves the land too. And it's all about working it, I think, which is why I love gardening and everything. I like to garden because I like to work with the land. I like to work with the pollinators, and, I like working with all these, the birds and the animals. And sure, the cow came by and ate my lettuce, but I hope that cow loved that lettuce, So for me, it's not about like moving certain animals off or moving all the people off, and like just preserving something, in a bottle untouched, because the plants, the animals, they rely on us too. We're part of the earth. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. It was a lovely place. I hope you guys Google it. So X Diamond Ranch. Okay, let me go back to some of your comments. Lila says, "How now, brown cow?" Probably was brown cow. Some cow. Actually, it sounded like that moo that I was hearing sounded like a baby cow, but whatever. Time Harvest says, "I've been in my little adventures. You know how it is. A wild cat will always disappear for a while. This time I visited another planet and lived with the locals like one." Wow, okay. You're like, so I was just like on another planet. Like, what is? Like, what? Do tell. Lila's like, damn, those butthole cows. Lila says, wow, you'll have to tell us about it, Time Harvest. Time Harvest says, Lilith, check out on the movie John Carter. That's exactly what happened to me. Oh, she says, we'll note it down. Time Harvest says, man, that's quite a lot of powders. Hey, man, we're making a spicy tea. wake you up tea. Time Harvest says, you're amazing, Lilith. Siren says, I don't know why mint is still haunting me. Well, maybe just, keeping the awareness up, all the awareness, your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual awareness, because that's what mint does. It keeps us revitalized. It keeps us with our head on a swivel, not with fear, but more awareness. Huh? Riley said that's why he likes his mint chocolate chip ice cream. Dude, I love mint chocolate chip ice cream. That's my favorite. I mean, I'll try all these other ice creams, but my ride or die, that's mint chocolate chip. Time Harvest says, Damiana Dolson. And Lula says, might get into a fight with Jack if I start consuming his catnip. He'd win. Well, I never want to take away catnip from a kitty cat. You'll get the claw. The craw. Timer says they always win. The world is sort of overpopulated, isn't it? I don't feel like the world is overpopulated, but I do feel like our sources for obtaining food for the populace is shrinking. So it'd make people feel as though there's an overpopulation, while also probably trying to control some sort of narrative about overpopulation and food shortage, but it's a manufactured food shortage, and also trying to maybe enact some sort of agenda about depopulation. I don't know. Probably why YouTube hates me. Anywho. Siren says, unfortunately, yes. Costalini says, strange urge to wander around in the heat. Be right back. Okay. Well, have fun. Drink some water. Time Harvest said, yep. Lilith says, wait, what did I do? Siren's like, same, Riley, same. Time Harvest says, you did amazing, Lilith, amazing. And she said, wait, what? I'm missing something. What have I done? You're just your amazing self. He said, yes, some people believe the actual population is only 1 billion people worldwide. Go figure. 1 billion. Alrighty then. But anyway, I feel like there would be enough food to go around if people weren't like trying to make it so that there isn't enough food to go around, which is why I highly encourage gardening. And you don't have to have a big old garden. Even if you live in a condo or 1-bedroom apartment, you can always get a little potted plant and maybe put little herbs in those little potted plants, like a little potted basil or a little potted rosemary, little planty friend. So every little seed planted is a little middle finger to narrative and those who create that narrative. Lilith's like, I didn't overpopulate the world by myself. I know I'm spicy, but I'm not that spicy. Jeez. Time Harvest says, let's make it happen today. Oh my goodness. Well, this chat's getting spicy. On that note, let's go ahead and head out to the living room. Got a little story time for you guys. I'm going to bring my tea. I'll be back for you guys. I'll be right back. Ooh, sorry, caught my hair and my lights. There we go. See, I would never leave you guys behind. I'll never let go. All right. taking you guys out to the living room. Hold on. Let me turn these guys off. Okay. Here we go. Watch out, Vader Nader. You see the puppy dogs? Oh, you got little Inky running around. Inky's the little chihuahua. Okay, we're backing up. Okay. Are you guys going to lead the way? Wow, I got an entourage of fur. Okie dokie. All right, let me just plug this in. All right. Hold on, you guys need to see this. I'm being stared at. Maybe you guys are getting stared at. So, for those who don't know, that's Vader Nader, Space Invader over there. That's his brother Liam, and the little one, that's Inky. And so those are our friends' dogs, keeping us company while their mama is away. Okay, sorry. Let me just adjust the tripod. Sorry if there's any noise. Wow, you guys are way up there. Come back. Come back. Okay. Lilith says, my dormitory is over there. Points. Time Harvest says, lion goes with the flow, enters the dormitory. Oh my goodness. Lilith is like, well. Siren says, and there's a cat on my bed. Lilith says, Time Harvest, wildest dreams coming into fruition. So you got giant cat entering Lilith's dormitory, and then there's also a cat on the bed. Okay, before I dive into some story time today, I wanted to say thank you to everybody who hangs out with us during these live chats. Thank you to my mighty, mighty moderators who wield the wrench of destiny, the powerful wrench, the wrench that commands all time. But also to my YouTube members, they have that cool colored wolf head next to their name. So each color kind of corresponds to how long that they've been a member, and it goes kind of in order from, you know, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Purple being the longest. So you'll see it like next to Costalini's name, which thank you, Costalini. And also our friend Shadowlands Radio, and Ching Rainbow's Lotus 496. Also Jonathan Cleese and Nancy from Macron's Intuition. Thank you guys for all of your support. And also thank you to my patrons, my wonderful patrons, Carmen and Adrian, Casey Gritter, Joel, Brandy, Brian, Lily, Crystal Easy Does It, and Dana. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, all you subbies. Love you guys. Okay, so I wanted to do a little mention about YouTube. I said I was going to smack on them later, and this is the later times. Lila says, catception much. Yes, catception. Time Harvest says, Lilith, you're reading my mind like a book. Lilith says, if only my abilities would stop there. Retired vacuum deluxe. So, okay. As you know, big giant companies like YouTube, they want what all things want, which is more power, more money, more power. Money and the power and the money. Anyway, so that wonderful donation that our friend Shadowlands, gave not this past week, but the week before. That's right. I took last week off, and I'll talk about that too. That's part of story time. And I was like, wow, it was really generous. And so on my my YouTube dashboard, always tells you like, oh, this is, what money you're making this month. And I don't make like a ton of cash with YouTube. That's why I have my shop and, things like that. And by the way, there is a new item in the shop just added yesterday, and that is my Rosa lip balm. Remember the lip balm that we made during the live chat? Well, now I've made it for the shop, and it's in a fancy, cool little aluminum tin. So definitely go check it out. It's there, and it's nice and, you know, affordably priced if you're just looking for something to spend a few dollars on, but get something that's super medicinal. But anyway, so I was looking at you know, what I was going to be making for the month, and I was like, wait a minute, where's Shadowlands money, and where's like the people that have been doing super chats and super stickers, you know? And I was like, wait, what? And so I looked, because it seemed like I was missing quite a lot of chunk of change, and so I was kind of reading into things. And so with super chats and super stickers, YouTube takes 50%. So that's why it's, because I always feel like, you know, people are so 50, yes. So I'm like, you know, because you guys are generous, and I greatly appreciate that, you know, the donations that you guys give during super chats and super stickers, and all the questions that you guys ask, which I love to answer, and I love diving into my books and looking into my, you know, herbal friends for help, and I was just like, wait, what? Like 50%? Who takes 50% of somebody's like, wow. I was just like, greedy. They're so greedy. And then, with my YouTube membership, you know, which again, like all the names that I mentioned, so grateful that they're, you know, willing to help out the channel. And I looked, you know, and with the memberships with that, they take 30% of that. And I was like, well, no wonder I don't make piddly with YouTube. I'd have to be making like, I don't know, $1 million just so I can make $500,000 or less, you know, with YouTube. That's just crazy. Wow. So I thought I would just be like, oh yeah, yeah. I talked about that before. So like with our video that kind of like sort of went viral, you know, it was like well over 600,000 views. It was just a silly reel that I did. You know, Riley was like, he was smoking a cigar, and normally we have like a little a draw tool that we put into it in case like there's a hard draw in it, which could happen if there's like too much moisture, or like the humidor is put up too moist or something, which is what happened. And so just to be silly, like the drill was sitting right next to him, and a screw, so he just like used a screw. It looked like he was like screwing into his cigar, and some people were like, I thought that was a hot dog. Well, anyway, it got all these comments and all these like it was so funny, because every day like the number was so much bigger, and I was like, oh my gosh, you're gonna get like 1 million views. And then that's when like I got an email from YouTube that says, oh, it looks like basically you're popular now, so now we'll help you to start making money. And then they realized it was just one video, and that's not like my whole channel, so they're like, never mind. So they just kind of went away. And then because YouTube decides who goes viral, and they decide what's popular and what people need to ingest visually, they started cutting back the views, saying that there was less and less views and there's less and less comments. They started just like deleting comments, and just so they can cap like who gets to 500,000, who's allowed to get to 1,000. So I thought, you know, F you, YouTube. I'll go ahead and use your platform to talk crap about you, because you are crappy. And just like be kind of transparent. Like, so that's what happened. That's kind of what's happening with, you know, so it's not just me. Obviously, it's all YouTubers with super chats, super stickers. YouTube will take 50% for them. They'll take 30% of what people are paying in membership. And if they decide that you're not allowed to go viral, they'll make sure that you don't go viral. They'll make sure that your videos don't do well. And I noticed that I'm in shadow ban right now because the normal amount of views I get on videos or like on my shorts is significantly reduced. So they're like, yeah, people aren't going to be looking at you. And I'm like, that's fine. I'll continue to talk crap. You won't stop me from doing that. So anyway, if when it comes time for super chats and super stickers or the donation section, if that is how you wish to donate, I'm not going to discourage you from ways that you'd like to give, because I'm just grateful for for all of it. But you can also do PayPal, which doesn't take as much. I believe PayPal is it goes between like 5 and 10%, something like that for PayPal, which is better than 50. So if you guys want, you can do PayPal. And I'm going to try to figure out how to do like a code or something so that you guys can do Cash App or Venmo, because I know some people are like into Venmo, or some people like to do Zelle and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to find other donation options for you guys, just so so the option is there if you'd like it. Okay. Let's see. Time Harvest says, got me thinking now. And Siren says, half. Geez, I didn't realize it was that much. Ugh. I'm so sorry. It's no worries. It's just how big businesses are. Hmm? Yeah, that's how, Riley said that's how rich people act. That's how the rich stays rich, is because they rip off everybody else. Let's see. Timer says, Tara, keep doing what you do. Remember, you're always in the right place. In the end of the day, no matter what is, it's what you love. Yes. And Siren said, well said, Time Harvest. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I didn't start YouTube because I was like, ooh, I want to be a YouTube celebrity and be a millionaire. That's not even what I was thinking when I started YouTube. I started YouTube because it reminded me of when I liked playing with the camcorder with my brother, and we would play newscasters, and I would pretend that I was like out in these different countries, and he would always like, we had all these different wigs too. So he'd dress up in all these different outfits, and he was always like the person I was interviewing. And when we ran out of VHS tape, then I had a cassette like recorder. And so I would record all these like interviews on cassette. And I try to like be all these different personalities. I'm like, I'm Barbara Walters. So yeah, so that's why I started YouTube. I was like, it reminded me of that. It reminded me of having fun, and that I could be creative, and that I could, dress up, which I have. Like I literally, even, it doesn't matter that I'm an adult now, I still have wigs. I still have like stuff to dress up, although it's just called my daily wardrobe now, but it's kind of like a closet full of costumes, kind of. And so I still like doing all of those things. It's not something that was like, just for childhood. I like doing it as an adult too. I like making fun videos. I like talking about plants. I like, showing off the forest and hanging out with my friends' dogs and, showing them off. So yeah, as long as there is a platform that I could do that and connect with people and have fun with people and have a place to laugh and share stories and whatnot, then I'm going to still do it, no matter if YouTube is a butthole or not. So, let's see. Lila says, time for alternative platform. I had looked into, because there are a couple of other platforms, but unfortunately they don't have like the what are you doing, Inky? Can I help you? They don't have like the everything in place, kind of like YouTube has, and the reach that YouTube has. But I'm like, dude, if I were super tech savvy, I would be like my friend John, create a business just to spite somebody else. So it's like, not that I would want to be, a big platform like YouTube, but I would probably make one just to spite YouTube if I had that kind of know-how. Like our buddy that we're going to meet up with in Colorado, like he had no interest in selling solar panels, but there's a place near my property called the Stanford store, and people sell like goods, and like they, just sell their stuff on the side of the road. It's kind of like, we call it the Stanford swap meet. And there was a guy that was selling solar panels, but he was selling them super expensive and they were used. And my buddy, he wasn't looking to buy any, but he was like, hey man, you're like ripping people off. Not like people have a lot of money around here. And this guy was basically a jerk to him. So he was like, you know what? And he decided to sell solar panels just to put that guy out of business, because he was going to sell them for cheap, and he did. And now he's like the main guy, but he's looking to get rid of that business because he didn't actually want that business. He just wanted to show a guy like, hey, be a fair businessman, be kind to people. Don't freaking try to rake them over the coals, Let's see. Lila says, the fact it censored the one I mentioned is mind-blowing. I know, right? And Siren says, honestly, I haven't been able to make videos. I don't want to bother my roommate. Plus, I need to be in a good mood for it. I feel that way with videos too. So like before, when I first was starting off on YouTube, I was like on a schedule. Like I have to have, this many videos a week. And at some point I was like, wait, wasn't I supposed to be having fun with this? Not that making videos wasn't fun, but I was like, it shouldn't be like this regimented thing. Like I like to be in a good mood when I'm making videos. I don't want to be all like sourpuss, like today we're going to talk about sage. I'm like, I'm pretty sure people can feel the energy coming through the video. So I usually wait until I'm like in a good mood. I'm really feeling the call of like, okay, let's do that. So I use my intuition for it too. I'm not just like, oh, this is going to go viral. I'm like, you know what? Freaking, yeah, horseweed. Let's talk about it. Nobody knows about it. Time Remember says, you have helped so many people and have done things that are bigger than YouTubers with 100 million views did. Like you said, our soul is bigger than our body size. It sure is. It expands to all reaches, all around the world. And he said, Lilith, that would be so cool, but I don't know if there's an alternative with such popularity and people's flow. And Lilith says, time would solve it all. Besides, might have the big reach, but Shadowbound also doesn't. So perhaps pivot is key. At some point, when my intuition leads me to the right platform, perhaps, or maybe it all crumbles. We all become telepathic and then we won't need it. Time Rivers, the thing about YouTube is to keep going until they stop. One day they will. They sure will. Because nothing lasts forever. Except our soul. That's eternal. But other than that, Time Rivers soft water, strong rock, drop by drop, the rock cracks. Yes. I love that. I forgot where I had heard that from. Maybe it's when I was in China, and we're visiting Tiger Hill. I remember hearing that, and it just like made so much more sense when you could actually see these like giant boulders that had split in half just because of a little drop over like 1,000 years or more. Lila says, new channel, Tara Sourpuss Diaries and collab with Blue Yoni Squat. Dude, that's the new channel. Tara Sourpuss Diaries and Blue Yoni Squat together at last. Or and then we'll have our side podcast. Don't forget, Trampolines and Yonis. Stay tuned, y'all. Time Harvest says, making popular videos does help bring in more people. And Lila's like, I vote for telepathy. Yes. And Time Harvest says, like clickbait video. I channeled how to be rich. Then there you go. Now you become Andrew Tate. Oh man. It's just so funny. My friend Dana, she was like posting something on her Instagram about how influencers be with their clickbait titles. It's like, could this be the end? And then it has nothing to do with that, like in their video. Or they say the comet is coming, and then it has nothing to do with what's going on in the video, or what all people are thinking right now, and then it has nothing to do with what's going on in the video. I'm just going to start labeling my videos, what happened with the blue yoni? It has nothing to do with blue yoni. That's right. I'm gonna start putting the clickbait in my video titles. The Sourpuss Diaries. What the Blue Yoni said. I channeled the Blue Yoni. Okay. Speaking about blue yonis, which reminds me of flowers, we are going to be talking about the herb of the week, which, let's look into it and see how maybe we can align our life or what has aligned in our life with this plant. And, just looking at its growing habitat, its allies, it's not so good friends to grow next to it, what time of year it prefers, and how it propagates itself. All those things that we learn about, plants and animals, and the world at large, we can see within ourselves too. So, okay, for this week, I thought it would be really cool to take a look at Yorba Santa. So let me know if you've heard of this. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I once in a while use it for tea, which is what you could use it for, but I like to use it for burning in incense because how it burns, it has so much like volatile oil in it that it burns really well, but it has this beautiful purifying scent. It's kind of a cross between Palo Santo, which is like sacred wood from the Amazon, and I would say sage, kind of like somewhere in the middle there. And if I wanted to give some really obscure imagery, I would say it smells like Bolsa Chica, morning crew on a maybe March, April day. I don't know. They call it dawn patrol. So it's like as the sun is coming up, dawn patrol, kind of like that salty air, but also there's a lot of moisture in the air, but you can also smell the rich, the dirt, the soil, the sand. And just the fact that there's a lot of scent in the air around April at that time in Bolsa Chica, which is a place I used to love to go surfing in California. It just had it had like long rolling waves, kind of like, not really like Newport, but more like Huntington Beach, but it would just be just a long row. So if you were a shortboarder, like you would just like be traveling along that wave what seemed like forever. And if you were a longboarder, which I'm a longboarder, it's like you felt like you were riding that wave for 10 minutes. You could practice doing anything. You could walk around on your board, you can hang 5, you can hang 10, you could like flap your arms around. It's like you could do all these things and you still hadn't like the wave is still going, but there's this scent. It's such a fresh, like, I don't know, like humid, not really humid, but like a lot of moisture in the air, very earthy smelling. And yeah, if one day I ever have a chance to surf in California again, I would go to Bolsa Chica. I'd probably stay away from Huntington, although Huntington's got some great waves. But Bolsa Chica, man, that's actually, I ran into Kelly Slater over there. He walked over my body. I ate sand and he just like stepped over me. I was like, Kelly Slater. If you don't know who that is, that used to be like a top surfer back in the day. But anywho, let's see. Let's look here. Do. Well, this is like Blue Yoni strikes again. Siren says, I haven't seen Dana in a long time. I feel the original squad is gone except for Heather. Dana, who you guys would also know as Spoonful of Healing on Instagram, she is doing big things. She has started her own business. And so I signed up for a new project that she started with 6 other women, or 5 other women. So it's 6 women total. And they are called the Muses. And so she does this subscription service. She's just kind of trying it out for now to see about interest, but it's like $11 a month, or I think it was $11 for 3 months, something like that. And basically these 6 women, they write you a letter, and it's all based on like their their personal talents. Like somebody is called like the muse of emotion, somebody's like the muse of music, and and so each with their various talents, they write you a letter. They might include some artwork, and so it's called the senses. And you get this letter in the mail each month, and it's just packed. Like it's such a thick letter because it's all these letters, inside, and they highly encourage people to write back, just to get back into the form of writing, because everything is so instant these days that maybe it's caused in some form a disconnect. Although we have a lot of connections that have been made, obviously I get to talk to you guys, and you guys aren't like all in Arizona, so you guys are halfway across the world, all the way around the world, and so in that instance, connection has been great. But sometimes with our text messages, just how we communicate to people is just like, oh, I just sent this message, and then you forget about it. It's so fast, you're on your phone for like 30 seconds or less, or you send an email, it's like, and then you just send it off. But to be able to sit down and like hand write something out, and then put it into an envelope and write the person's address and put a stamp on it and send it, it's just, I don't know, I think there was just something to that. It's not old school. I don't see it. I see it as I don't know, just a more human way of connecting with people. I liked writing people back when that was like a thing, doing postcards and writing letters. And so I like what Dana is doing with that, kind of bringing back that human element. So just like I try to create community here, that is her way of creating community. So, when people are doing that, I'm all for it. So Dana's doing amazing things. I'm very happy for her. Lisa, who used to come into our live chats, man, she's doing some great stuff with her giddy guitars, her, diddly bows that she's been making. And so that's really kind of taken off. And so she's trying to collect more and more cigar boxes so she can make more cigar box guitars. And she's been sending them to people all over the world. So it's been kind of a full-time business for her. So yeah, I mean, sure, maybe me and the original crew, we're not all hanging out together anymore during our live chats, but that's because each one of us has found our niche, and we're all, doing wonderful things. So I'm happy for them. I still keep in touch with everybody, and they're all doing just freaking awesome. Friend Susie, you guys knew her as Susie Gemini. She's doing some good stuff out in California, creating community out there as well. And Heather, yeah, Heather's doing good stuff as well. She's out in Utah, and who knows, maybe we might have to go back out to Utah because there is a cool looking truck out there. I don't know, but yeah, so lots of good stuff. So they haven't disappeared. They're off doing wonderful things for everyone. Let's see, Time Harvest says, what attracted me to your channel is basically the channeling videos of all those alien races. And then you replied to one of my comments, and that's it. I decided to keep in touch. Ah, well, I'm so glad you decided to keep in touch with us, because see, you're obviously missed when you're not here in the chat. Lois says, I don't know, but I started the squat, and I don't know who them are. So... And Time Harvested. So yes, those videos help bring people. Maybe you should do some good karma clickbaits, the ones that are positive. Ooh, positive good karma clickbaits. I can do that. Inky, would you help with clickbait? Okay. Let's see, Siren said, Lilith, I'm talking about the people who I usually saw in Tara's lives. Heather, Susie, Lisa, Dana, plus Angela as well. Oh, yeah. So Angela Poems, she took some time off. She was kind of going on, I guess, what you could call like a vision quest. So she was going deep into like meditation, deep into her writings with her poems, and actually maybe looking into publishing them, which I was like kept encouraging. So I know that she's been on a soul quest recently, and we all need to take time out to do that. Even the pastor from our church is taking time out to just, make sure that the things that he preaches and the things that he does is in alignment with the Creator. So, just kind of being out in the forest, which we see him from time to time out and about. But yeah, he's really like just working on going inwards and, listening and, so we all need to take time out to reconnect. Let's see. Time Harvest says there's way more people out there who would love to watch your videos, but they just don't know about the channel. Well, in due time, all in divine timing, if it's for them, they'll find it. Lila said, before my time, Blue Yoni is tribute to celibacy, by the way. Oh, the Blue Yoni. Siren says, yeah, I've been following Tara for 4 years. Has it been 4 years now? Oh my goodness. Well, heck yeah, high five. That's awesome. Lila says, ooh, there's another reader who is doing a similar monthly subscription with like personal positive vibes mail. It's only US based, but definitely cute to receive, I'm sure. Yeah, so Dana's just doing US first, just to kind of see, is this something people are interested in? Do they want to get, snail mail? Do they want to have pen pals and, get cool stuff in the mail from, people from all over the place? And if it does, then she says, then she's going to expand. And obviously it'll be for longer than 3 months. But it's just kind of like, putting her feelers out there. I think it's fantastic. I try to give her feedback. I'm like, don't stop doing this. This is amazing. I like what direction this is going. But yeah, then she'll open it up to international. But I like that. I think it's really cool. Lila says, we've not seen John for a while. If his name is John. I've seen John around on the Instagrams. And it feels like he is also kind of like on, well, like I said, we all go inwards. We all go on this vision quest. And I think John is kind of like on that kind of vision quest right now. He's kind of looking at all different types of spirituality and points of view and just trying to learn as much as possible. So I definitely wish him well. Like I said, I have seen him around on Instagram, so he's not disappeared. Let's see. Siren says, I'm pretty much have inherited Angela's place now with my inspired lyrics. I used to trade for a reading. Yes. I was thinking about that because if you guys don't know who Angela is, so it's like Angela Poems. She, was kind of on a fixed income. And so we agreed that, she could trade her beautiful poetry for, at the time when I was doing readings. And I thought she did some amazing poems, and some poems were too long for her to put in the chat. So she would email them to me, or she had some art that went along with that poem. I just thought it was just so amazing. Beautiful, energetic exchange. And so I was like, well, then Siren's been, doing some really cool lyrics, which is a form of poetry as well. And I'm like, well, that's cool. I like that the poetry continued because I was a creative writing emphasis when I was in college. That's kind of what I liked the most, was the creative writing. And that time I took theater. That was fun too. There was a time we had to have just a screaming session. We had to scream for an hour. I don't know why, but we had to. It was just part of theater. Anyway. See, Time Harvest is so cute, you guys, wondering about everybody. Lilith says, we're missing our Indian tiger. Yes. So, and Time Harvest says, I genuinely didn't expect to be missed around here. It's a big surprise to me. And Lilith said, poetry. Aw. But no, you guys definitely are missed. People notice when certain people are in the chat, because, like I said, we're a community. It's not just rando people that we don't take notice of. Like, we're not taking notice of like the things that you guys type. That's why I read everything out loud. I want to make sure that people who are just like listening to my live chats, not necessarily watching, I want them to be able to hear the things you guys are talking about, or things you guys are asking, because I like hanging out with you guys. You have a lot to offer. So let's see how Yerba Santa aligns with us right now. Okay. So like I said, it smells wonderful. And sometimes I don't even burn it. I don't even put it in a tea. I just literally just like huff my little jar. I'm like, Yerba Santa. Maybe some other people aren't like that, but that's fine. I do that with my Yerba Santa. And I do that with Palo Santo too. Okay, Yerba Santa. A sticky evergreen shrub growing to 8 feet. Its narrow, lance-shaped leaves are shiny green on the upper side and hairy white underneath. Trumpet-shaped white or blue flowers grow in clusters. But not blue yonis, just blue flowers. And by the way, I'm reading from the Encyclopedia of Herbal Medicine, just in case you are interested. Okay, habitat and cultivation. Native to California and Oregon in the US and northern Mexico, Yerba Santa flourishes on dry mountain slopes. It grows at altitudes up to 3,900 feet, so it wouldn't grow up here because we're closer to 7,000 feet. The parts that are usually utilized are the leaves, as you can see here. Oops. Well, but yeah, so these are all dried leaves. And they all just kind of curl up like that. So, so good. The constituents. I've been poisoned by my constituents. No, it's not a poison. Yerba Santa contains volatile oil, flavonoids, and resin. So yeah, the volatile oil and the resin is why it just burns so well in an incense and smells amazeballs. Okay, history and folklore. The name Yerba Santa, or holy weed, was given to this plant by the Spanish colonists who learned of its medicinal virtues from indigenous North Americans. Traditionally, the leaves were infused and taken for coughs, colds, sore throats, mucus, and asthma. The infusion was also used as a wash to ease fever, and the mashed leaves were applied as a poultice to treat sores. Medicinal actions and uses. An aromatic herb with a pleasant sweet taste, Yerba Santa is a valuable expectorant that can be used to treat tracheitis, bronchitis, and asthma, and similar respiratory tract ailments. So, everything to do with our breathing and the respiratory system. And like I said, I like to huff it. I'm like, it smells so good. So, about breathing in, clearing what it is that we breathe in. Well, it does have essential oils, yes. All plants have a type of essential oil, even if it's minuscule and people don't use it for medicinal purposes. They all have their oils. It's actually what helps to keep moisture within a plant, and it's what a lot of their medicine is kind of contracted into. So that's why essential oil is like so potent, because it's like the most potent form of the plant. And I have a neighbor that knows lots and lots about essential oils, and perhaps I will have her on here at some point, and then she'll be able to talk to you guys about them, because she knows more than I. Me, I'm just an herby girl. Okay, I also want to read from the Modern Herbal Dispensatory. And this book's really good if you're looking to actually take those herbs and you want to know what to do with them. Like, it's like, okay, cool, I have an herb. Yay. What do I do with it? This book is really good for that. So if you're wanting to learn how to make not just teas, but like decoctions, how to create poultices, or how to create lotion like I did yesterday. Oh my gosh, this is my first time making like liquid lotion. Like normally I make salves and balms. I'm really smitten with myself, which is why I brought it out for the chat. Yeah, so there's so many ways that you could utilize a plant, and this I think is a really, really good book. I wouldn't say it's the end all be all, but definitely worth like having in the library. Okay, a warming and stimulating expectorant. Again, talking about that bronchial system, the respiratory. Yerba Santa clears phlegm from the chest and opens air passages. Just like a spring day near the ocean. It is a reliable herb for most respiratory problems, but is especially helpful for asthma, profuse expectoration, and respiratory complaints with obscure symptoms. It is also an effective diuretic and urinary antiseptic. It can be can be applied topically to insect bites and stings, poison oak and ivy, bruises, sprains, and cuts. There are no known warnings, so it seems pretty safe for a lot of people. It has a warming and drying energy to it. Its properties are decongestant and expectorant. Let's see. And if you're looking to obtain Yerba Santa, if it doesn't naturally grow in your area, you can check out a couple of trusted shops, Mountain Rose Herbs. I like Mountain Rose Herbs personally. There's also Star West Botanicals. I have gotten herbs from Star West before. I've also gotten herbs from Frontier. My most trusted outside of my state is Mountain Rose Herbs. I think that just the way they grow all their own stuff and package it, and they make their tinctures and everything. I think they're a really trustworthy business. And of course, when I go locally, I go down to Sholo and I go to Sunshine Herbs, and they usually have a lot of stuff. But if they don't have it, then I go to Mountain Rose. If Mountain Rose for some reason doesn't have it because they're sold out because they're a really popular website, then I would go to Frontier or Star West. So okay, so dosage. You could do a standard infusion, which is like a tea, 2 to 4 ounces 3 times a day. You could make a tincture out of it using the fresh leaf or the dry leaf. And if you have done it as a tincture, then you would take it 2 to 4 times daily. If you're looking to make it in capsule form, then 5 to 1,000 milligrams up to 4 times a day if you're going to ingest Yerba Santa for that. But I personally would suggest, as I have done this with my Yerba Santa, I know I said that I most of the time use it as an incense, but I have used it as like an inhaler where I put some in a boiling pot of water on the stove. I put a towel over my head and I literally just breathe in the steam, and obviously the essential oils are in that steam, and I'm just like, just huffing away. And it clears things up, just like eucalyptus, just like tea tree, just like peppermint, and all of those, well, speaking of peppermint, and all of those herbs that just really help to just open things up. So next time you have like a head cold or you're feeling really stuffy, I suggest put a little bit of Yerba Santa, and like, doesn't have to be a lot, just like a little pinch like that. Put it into some boiling water and just like put your head over it for like 5 minutes and just inhale. Of course, a lot of stuff's going to come out, but it's an expectorant. It's supposed to come out. So just get it all out. But it's a good herb for that. Okay. Let me see. Time Harvest says, is that lotion only for facial care, or can it be used for body dry skin? It's for all over. So I've been putting it all over my hands, my arms, my feet, my legs. I have a different, actually I have a salve that I make, my healing salve, which is on my website if you guys want to check it out. My magical healing salve, that's actually what I use on my face. And then I use my rose salve and I put that under my eyes. And then this now is what I'm using for my body, because all that store-bought lotion and stuff, I'm like, nah, I would rather go chemical free. So the only chemicals I like are the phytochemicals, the kind that come from plants. Anyway, so this lotion, I'm calling it Chocolate Roses, because I used cocoa butter, which obviously smells like chocolate and it's amaze balls. And I also put in rose water, so it smells like these kind of chocolatey roses. It's pretty nice. It's more on the chocolatey side than it is roses. And then for a preservative, I put in vitamin E oil and just a couple of drops of rosemary. It just kind of helps to preserve it. So there's like ever so hint of like a rosemary smell in here, but most of it is like rose and chocolate cocoa. Let's see, what else did I use for it? I know that this is my first time using emulsifying wax, and that was pretty cool because you get to like whip it up and it's fabulous. You get finally together, oil and water are together at last. Let's see, what else did I put in here? Jojoba oil. Yeah, that was like my main, I guess, foundation was the jojoba oil, which is really good for skin, and the cocoa butter, also really good for skin, but it's good at creating like a protective barrier. So, like with cheap lotions that you get at the store that feel really liquidy, which now I know like why that is, because I'm playing mad scientist in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, okay. So they have an emulsifier in it, but they may have put more liquid than there is solids. Like cocoa butter would be considered a solid because it's solid at room temperature. Jojoba is considered a liquid because it's liquid at room temperature. Although if you get it to a certain temperature, it would become solid. Like if you're, getting down to like 32 degrees or something, jojoba would become a solid, but just, naturally. So, with some of the cheap store-bought lotions, and I can see why they would do this, where they would have less solid and more liquid, is because more of the solids like shea butter, cocoa butter, beeswax, things like that, they're more expensive. And so in order to create a cheaper product, they're going to put more of like maybe a hydrosol in there, or a type of water. Like I put rose water in here, or might even make an infusion, herbal infusion, and put it in there. So it has a lovely scent. It just doesn't have the barrier, for your skin. So it doesn't have the solid to keep that moisture in. That's why it sinks in and then it's gone. And then you have to keep putting lotion on and your skin's just like drying out more and more. So, yeah, maybe I will make a video at some point. I'll try to make maybe a different scent. That way I have like different bottles of lotion that we could utilize. And then that way you guys can make it at home. And also if you're like, I don't have emulsifying wax, you don't need it. There's a way you can make your own emulsifier. So maybe I'll make a video on that too, or a little YouTube short. People seem to be liking YouTube shorts. They're just like, wham, bam, I want some information. So yeah, I'm real smitten with that. Let's see. Siren says, Major fate, gems in hand, a master feared across the land. Into the stars the grail appears, a second union. Will she be here? Ooh, I love your poem lyrics. I love it. Payment for a message for Susie. Well, as you know, we're not doing the readings anymore, but we can definitely look into how we can send her some positive vibes, of course. So okay. Time Harvest says, man, if I was in the US, I would buy pretty much every single one of your products. Aw. Well, I mean, they are available international. So I made sure, because I have a lot of friends that are not in the US, and I want to make sure that everybody has access to stuff on my site. Time Harvest says, I heard shea butter can be used for lotion too. Yes. So shea is really good. It's actually what I use most of the time, like for face and body. And that's because it has a lighter scent to it. So if I'm adding scents or like essential oils, I don't want the solid to overpower the essential oils. Cocoa butter has a very intense scent. It smells like freaking full on chocolate. And I'm surprised I haven't eaten my cocoa butter at this point. But it has such an overpowering smell to it, like of chocolate, that if you put in other essential oils that are very light, it doesn't, it's kind of hard to smell them. So that's why a lot of people go with shea butter, or they go with something else, or coconut oil, although it adds kind of a coconutty smell. I don't know. You just kind of have to experiment and have fun. That's just kind of like been my experience. I love using cocoa butter, but I have to, for me personally, I try to find the things that go well with chocolate. What smells good with chocolate, because it's gonna smell like chocolate. So am I going to make this into a lip, balm? Am I going to make this as a lotion? Am I going to make it for the face? Am I doing it for my hair? But it's going to smell like chocolate. Heather says, a humectant lurking and working. Yes, a humectant. Thank you, my friend. How are you, Heather? Everybody's saying, hey. Lola says the product might be cheaper with fluids, but doesn't it cost in shipping? It does. So yeah, when there's more water, I mean, I guess you get like a cheaper product, but I guess, I don't know. I'm all about quality, quality over quantity. So sure, you might be able to sell more units of something because it's cheaper, but are the people using it actually getting a medicinal benefit? Like, do they keep just having to buy more? Are you keeping them in like perpetual buy more mode because your product isn't doing what they think it's supposed to do, which is keep moisture in their skin? I would rather be like, somebody buys something, let's say from my shop, like my salves that I make. Some people are like, I've been using your salve for like two years and I still have more salve. And I'm like, see, that's fine. As long as they're enjoying it, it's working. And I know that I've made a good product. I'm glad that, it's being useful instead of me making like a crappy product. And then it's like, oh, I had to buy like 5 of these from her because, they run out so fast and my skin needs more or something like that. I'm just like, I want to make sure people are being helped by what I make. Siren says, 2 separate things. Okay, we will do that. She said, the poem is my payment for my question as well as a message for Susie. And oh yeah, send the lyrics to her. Okay. Also, if you would, since you know me on the Instagrams, if you could send those lyrics to my my DM in the Instagrams. Susie is on Instagram sometimes, so I'll be able to like DM them to her. I could just email them to her, but that would be lovely. Thank you. Okay, I wanted to read one last thing about Yorba Santa before we get into our friend Siren and get into the rest of our, if you would like to do super chats, super stickers, otherwise I would say let's do maybe PayPal or something. Okay. Oh, yes. And I have to get into my story as well. Okay, so Yoruba Santa, and this is according to Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. So how did our ancestors use this in a spiritual sense? They believe that Yerba Santa when they carried it, would help to improve or to attain beauty, and the infusion is added to baths for the same reason. Interesting, maybe because it smells so good, and then people are like, what's that scent? And you're like, Yerba Santa. The leaves are added to healing incenses and are worn around the neck to ward off illness and wounds. I can see that because obviously, as you've heard from these other books, it's a very powerful expectorant. It's really good for the respiratory and the bronchial systems. So I can see it being seen as aiding in warding off illness. Also really good for wounds. We learned that from the modern herbal dispensatory, where it's talking about you could put it on sprains, you could put it on cuts, you could put it on, use it as a poultice for so many things. And also just has a really lovely scent to it. It's very clean smelling. So I could see it as like, keep the bad juju away, It says they also carried it for spiritual strength, to increase their psychic powers and to protect the bearer. I can definitely see that, especially because the leaves are rather thick, even in their dried form. Like, I mean, that's just a partial leaf, but like, look how large they are, and they're actually really thick. It's not like the peppermint that I put in my tea where it's, really thin. So I could see that strengthen the plant, thus strengthen ourselves. All right. So I'm going to get to Siren's question. And then I also want to share my story time about what happened last Saturday and Sunday, which is why I missed our live chat. I just really needed to sit in some spiritual energy, sit and reflect and like just be, kind of like I talked about with our other friends, that are kind of on their vision quests. I just kind of wanted to be in the energy. And then afterwards, we'll do more super chats and super stickers if you guys would like. So, Siren says, let's see. My question is, the second collaboration between Honkai Star Rail and Fate Star Night is up now. Will I get a character Rin Toshaka? Ooh. So the second collaboration is up. for Deep Space and Love, right? Or is it a different game? Let me just look back here. Time Harvest says, have you tried selling some of your products on organic open air market, craft fair, etc.? Usually plenty of buyers too. I have not, but that's a good idea because we do have markets like that up here. We have a big one at one of the nurseries, like In Bloom Nursery usually has like a big art fair, but it's like all kinds of stuff people are selling. And then near one of our pizza parlors, that's usually where we have like our like weekend like farmers markets, and there's a farmers market in Sholo too, so I can definitely sell some stuff there. That's a good idea. And then maybe look online, other like some organic places that might I can maybe sell my wares. That's a good idea. Okay, so Siren, you're talking about you're really excited for looking at getting this new character, and you say that there's a collab between these two folks. So, okay, it's for a different game. I see. Okay. And Liz says, sent you the summer vibe stuff to your email just now. I hope they are to your liking. Thank you. And the newsletter is sent, ready to be sent out. Let's not forget. Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Heather says she has to go. Have a beautiful day. Love to each and every one of you. Love to you, my friend. I hope you have a fabulous Sunday. Have a kick-ass week. Okay, so let's see. I'm trying to think of an herb that would kind of get us into that energy. Hmm. Let me sit with your question for a moment. Let's see. No, I want to grab it from this book. Okay. An herb that could get Siren into the energy of her character. Because as we know, when we become a particular energy, we end up surrounding ourselves with that energy. Just like, let's say we're talking about if my channel was Tara's Sourpuss Diaries. If I was just like a sourpuss, then that's how I see everybody else. That's the world that I create for myself. Hi, honey. Riley's not allowed to have a camera. Wow, just throw me off track. Anyway, later, honey. But yeah, as we know, when we're in a particular energy, it's like the way our whole world is colored is through that lens and through that energy. So if I were the sourpuss, I start to see everything through the sourpuss eyes. And then I start to wonder why the world is such a sourpuss, and why is everybody like that? And why aren't there any nice people? And so we start to be in that. So think about the character that you are that you would like to have. And so what is the energy of that character? And remember, you said that you're doing like the AI dating, and you get to kind of try out different ways of being and talking and presenting yourself, almost like trying on different characters, so to speak. So not to say you need to be the character that you're wanting to have in your game, but maybe it's something that you could play around with, that energy of that character. So let me find an herb that might be helpful in embracing, almost like a chameleon, kind of like actors and actresses, where they have to embrace these characters, but that's not necessarily who they are in real life. So you get to maybe practice pretending, to have qualities of this character, even if that's not who you really are. But just kind of see how your world changes when you're pretending to be something else. Now you're looking through the eyes of the character that you mentioned. So the world starts to look a little bit different. And if you could do it with a character, we'll imagine how else you can change other things in your life and see how that changes your outlook, which thus changes your world. So, ooh, really? I just kind of opened to an herb, but this makes sense. I have a type of this growing on my property called Mormon's tea, which is a type of ephedra. It doesn't have the strong potency of Chinese ephedra, but it still has ephedra in it. But let's read a little bit about it, because I feel like understanding that plant as ephedra can adapt to a lot of different landscapes. So if it were just its, one self, like let's say, I'm trying to think of a finicky plant. Who's finicky? Orchids. Orchids are finicky. So let's say, you're just a little orchid, but the orchid's like, I don't do well in this weather and I don't do well over here. So it's like a one trick pony. But ephedra can grow in a lot of different climates. It's like, it is the actor, the actress. It fakes it till it makes it, So let's read in a little bit about it, and let's see if you said Honkai Star Rail is the sequel to the Genshin Impact, and Fate Star Night is another game focusing on the Holy Grail War. Ooh. Rin Tosaka is a mage and master in the Holy Grail War. She's trying to win the Holy Grail with her heroic spirit servant archer. Ooh, very cool. Okay. So, think about the energy of the character as you were describing it. The mage and master in the Holy Grail War. So trying to win that Holy Grail. And well, in the game, what does the Holy Grail represent? Of course, there might be something physical, but metaphorically speaking, what does that Holy Grail represent? What is this character? Why is this character after that Holy Grail? So she's with her heroic spirit servant archer. Okay, well, let's take a look at ephedra. It says ephedra is a strong stimulant, acrid tasting herb that has a central place in Chinese and other herbal traditions. Interesting. According to legend, the bodyguards of Genghis Khan, threatened with beheading if they fell asleep on sentry duty, used to take a tea containing ephedra to stay alert. Today, ephedra is used in the West and in China for problems ranging from chills and fever to asthma and hay fever. Let's see. And it helps to increase sweating, dilates the bronchioles. So again, with the airways, breathing, dries mucous membranes, where what we were talking about, yerba santa, is actually an expectorant. It doesn't dry things up, but it helps you to get it out. It's a diuretic, stimulant, raises blood pressure. In China, ephedra is popular for chills and fever, coughs and wheezing, and in combination with rehmannia is given to treat kidney yin deficiency. So a lot of traditional Chinese medicine works with the yin and the yang. So yin would be like the female deficiency energy. Interesting. So for your character, and I love how you described your character, by the way, Rin uses gems to fuel her magic. Oh, that's wonderful. So thinking about that energy, you have this female character, and again, it was talking about working with the female is what ephedra does in traditional Chinese medicine, and trying to maybe, like I said, you get to try on this character for yourself. You don't have to totally become the character, but see if you can add aspects of that character into your life, again, to not to guarantee, because we can't force things to happen, in our world. The creator has control over the world. But we can definitely try to align ourselves with the things that we would like, in hopes for that connection. So just to align yourself with that character in hopes that character comes and becomes a part of your reality. What are some aspects that you find, I don't know, fun that you think that you could add into your daily life? So if ephedra is helping to bring in more of the feminine, perhaps we want to look at the strong feminine. So the divine feminine. How can you bring in more of that? You definitely utilize it in your poetry in your lyrics. I think it's beautiful. Using that creativity, allowing it to flow. So, in what other ways can you work more in that yin energy? In what ways in your life have there been too much of like the shadow aspect of the divine feminine, and maybe in just for fun, remember, you're just trying on a mask, you're just trying on a persona. Could you try to add more of that light divine feminine, into the shadow side of that divine feminine? And when it comes to adapting, you have a new roommate. So you've been having to adapt to a new roommate, although you say you like this roommate better than your old roommate. So just looking in ways where maybe adapting to new environments or new people or new beliefs or new ideas might be difficult for you. Remember that you're just playing a character for now. So what if you were somebody that didn't have a hard time adapting to a certain belief or a certain way of being or a certain person, that it was just easy for you? So pretend for a little while, see if it suits you, see if it helps to change your outlook in things, because you're looking through a different set of eyes when you do that. So let's say for me, let's say I liked a video game character that just was fearless, just wanted to try anything and everything. And although I do like trying a lot of things, there's a lot of things that, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to try it because I might be a little scared, but I'm not me right now. I'm the character. The character would so go try that. That character would so go do that. And so I would go do it too, because I am pretending to be that character. And it might turn out I really like the thing that I tried, or I really like that idea now that I'm looking at it through a different set of eyes. So if you're wanting to help just, I guess, put that extra oomph out there in bringing that character into your reality, start adapting the qualities that you think might be fun to try on, as a little costume, as a little personality, for a little while, and see how that works. Maybe just do it for this week. But if you really like it and you like the characteristics that you've tried on, try it for 2 weeks, try it for 3 weeks, see how it goes. Let's see. Yes, the curse of the gacha games. I need online ephemera is banned in the US because of its risk of stroke and heart attack. Yes, online ephedra is, but Mormon's tea is not. Mormon's tea actually grows on my property. And like I said, it has ephedra in it, but it has a lot of other qualities as well. But they look basically the same. They look exactly the same, actually. And so the kind that grows here in the US is not banned because it doesn't have so much of the stimulant in it. But it can adapt to a host of environments. Where my property's at, it's like at, I don't know, 6,500 feet. And sometimes it can get really hot. Sometimes it can get really cold. It could be snowing for a while. It could be raining for a while. And just that Mormon's tea just keeps right on going. It does so well. I've seen it pop up in like weird areas, sometimes at low altitude, sometimes at really high altitudes. It doesn't care. It's like, whatever, I'm going to grow out of this rock right now because I felt like it. I'm going to grow out of this sandstone because YOLO, so I'm like, okay. So yeah, a lot to learn from ephedra. It's like, whatever, I'm just going to try growing here and see what happens, and if the animals want to come by and chomp me down, that's cool, because I'm going to keep right on growing. It's like it doesn't care. It's like the badger of the herbal world, the honey badger. It just doesn't care. It just grows everywhere. So I think, you don't necessarily have to have the physical plant with you, but just start looking online. Just look at, maybe look under Mormon's tea. You could look under ephedra as well, but just like looking under its habitat. How does it grow? What soils does it like growing in, which might be many? What pests, does it not like so much? And what pests does it like? What insects or animals? Who are its allies? Who are its enemies, so to speak? What season does it blossom in? When does it stay dormant? Does it stay dormant, or is it just like kicking 24/7? And the more you learn about that and its versatility, the stronger understanding you might have for being able to adapt certain characteristics that you may not feel like are your own personality, because you're like, oh, that's totally not my personality, but it's the personality of the character you're talking about. And remember, you're just trying it on for size, fake it till you make it. But just try a few aspects for this week. And like I said, if you dig it, then keep going with it. Let's see. Siren said, I sent you a post that shows Rin on Instagram. Thank you. You're very welcome. Okay. And so you also asked for Susie, who I will be able to relay her message to her because we text back and forth. So whatever herb comes through for her, I will pass it on to her because she is my other herby sister. Okay. So I know that Susie is in deep, knowledge mode right now. She's trying to take in as much knowledge as possible. So mental clarity, well, I mean, peppermint and the catnip and Damiana, basically, that I have in that mug right now. This has a lot of mental clarifying herbs in it, but let's see if there's anything more potent. Ginkgo. Okay. Dude, let me look that up. Ginkgo would work fabulously. What? How do you not have ginkgo? Well, fine. I'll look at a different book. Ginkgo 237. Okay. Haha. Ginkgo biloba. Extensive research has been conducted in Europe using concentrated extracts of the flavonoids in this herb. Ginkgo is best used as a standardized extract. It is commonly used to enhance memory and brain function. It improves blood flow to the brain and acts as an antioxidant to protect brain cells from damage. It also improves peripheral circulation and may be beneficial for diabetic retinopathy, tinnitus, vertigo, and dizziness. Best results are obtained when the herb is used consistently for 2 to 3 months. Ginkgo is an excellent remedy to take to slow the aging process and protect the nervous and cardiovascular systems. So it has slightly cooling energy to it. Its properties are anticoagulant, which is a blood thinner, antioxidant, cerebral tonic, hypotensive, and vasodilator. So all kinds of things to improve the blood flow. And I think that would be really beneficial for her because it's right now she's this little sponge. She's just trying to learn anything and everything. So I know she's deep in her vision quest right now. And I think this would be a perfect herbal companion for her journey. So I'm going to pass that on to her. And see how she could utilize it on her journey. Because obviously, I can't tell her how to use the herb. It's totally up to her. So I think she might actually have some ginkgo, but if she doesn't, she can just, obviously read just like I tell you, just read into it. Look at, again, all the properties of the plant, where it grows, what does it like, what season is its best season, and see how she can apply that to her life and in her studies right now. But yeah, ginkgo, I think that's going to be fantabulous for her. That's going to be a great friend to have on her journey. Well, wow. Thank you, Siren. Let's see. I missed some of your comments. Let me go back here. Oh, so Lilith was asking Time Harvest how he's been. And he said, honestly, bad and good, good and bad. My life is like a Bitcoin chart, but today I'm really good. Wow. And Siren was talking about her character being of a prominent mage family. Rin is definitely finicky. Ooh. Time Harvest asking Lilith how she was doing. She says, that's just because you're golden. Glad to hear you're good. And Siren says the Holy Grail can grant the winner one wish. Ooh. So almost like a genie in a cup. Lilith says, well, life has reminded me I'm very alive lately. Very, very human stuff going on. Time Harvest says, ooh, if I'm golden, you're diamond, shiny girl. And she said, such a charmer. And he said, yes, that's the word of it. Life reminding us we are alive. You haven't seen anything yet, Lilith. And Lilith's like, oh, is that so? You guys are so silly. Lilith's over there craving chocolate. Time Harvest says, big chocolate man for sure. Lilith says, I've fished some out of my fridge. I have, I think, one little chocolate left in my fridge, but I could make chocolate too. And if you guys are wondering how do you make chocolate? Well, I like dark chocolate. So all the chocolate I make is dark chocolate. You just need cacao powder. You need honey. You need, what else did I mix in there? I think there's a little bit of, there's one other ingredient. Oh, why can't I think of it right now? It's literally only 3 ingredients. Okay, well, if you go over to my Instagram at the Savage Wild AZ, you go to my Instagram page, I have the recipe on how to make chocolate. But all I can really remember now is that I remember the third one. It's coconut oil. I was like, wait, there's kind of a solid in there. What makes it solid? Oh, it's the coconut oil. So yeah, it's just a little bit of coconut oil, a little bit of honey, and some cacao powder. And basically the amount of cacao powder that you put in makes it, darker. The less honey you have, the more bitter and more dark. I like it. If you wanted milk chocolate, you would have to add milk. And then there's people like white chocolate. Maybe I'll make it someday, but I don't think it's a real chocolate. Time Harvest says, I'm going to put more in. And Lilith said, yes, please. Lilith says, the streamy exchange. I'm curious when Tara starts reading it. Oh, I'm reading it now. Lilith says, meanwhile, Riley is shaking his head in the background. Probably. Costolini says, ginkgo is also a really fun word to say. I know. Like when I first heard it when I was like a teenager, I was like, I think there was like a commercial with something that had ginkgo biloba in it. I was like, ginkgo biloba, ginkgo biloba. I want my ginkgo biloba. It's still really fun to say. Act like that's only happened when I was a kid. It happened like 5 minutes ago. Let's see. Lilith says Costolini survived the sauna. I was starting to wonder about him. I was like, did he melt out there, or is he okay? Do we have to send an SOS? Lilith says Costolini, had survived that sauna. Costolini says, I sure do love being covered in sweat. Oh, I bet. Siren says, I used to have her number, but not anymore. I miss her. Yeah, let's see. I know that she's been moving around a lot lately because her son went off to college, and oh my gosh, so many good things happening with her son. And so, she's been meeting new people and just kind of trying to create more of like an in-person community where I'm like, I have my online community. She's trying to do that, but in person, as she meets people online, kind of like bringing them into community, which I think is really cool. But yeah, she is doing more with her son now, which I think is amazeballs. So yeah, she's been a busy lady. Lila says, makes 2 of us. Oh, you missed the business cards. Have me proud, which they really do. Some of us melting in here. Oh, yes. I hope it's not burning yet, Lilith. Like I said, I know that there are some of you friends out there that are going back into a heat wave, and it's been warm here, but I've been appreciative that our monsoons have been coming in at around 2:00 every day ish to just kind of like cool it all down. But yeah, when the sun is out, it's like it's like a laser. I'm like, why? Why would you do that to me? These plants, they're like, why are you doing that? Well, who decided that I needed a magnifying glass over my head? Okay, so story time before we get back into donations. Maybe I'll just call it the donation section instead of super chat, super stickers, because, in case you want to donate doing in other ways, other than super chat, super stickers, like PayPal or Venmo or Zelle, people have other preferred methods that aren't YouTube taking 50%. Anyway, so let me talk about last Sunday. Like I said, I wanted to just like be in the spiritual energy. I was just like, need to sit in it for a little bit. But then I wanted to share it with you guys. Lila says, so soon, but hopefully it'll be fast. 3 days or so. Ooh, ooh. Okay. So, last Saturday, the 18th, I got baptized and okay, let's rewind because we need some back information. Some people, like my friend Heather, was like, I thought you already did get baptized. And I was like, yeah, I got baptized Catholic when I was a teenager, had just become a teenager. I was like 13. And by the way, you can see that video. I made a YouTube short out of it. So if you go to my YouTube channel, there's a YouTube short about that day I went out to the lake. And so I didn't really understand what was going on at the time. And I didn't really vibe with the Catholic Church all that much. And my dad, he wanted my brother and I to be able to kind of find our own spirituality, our own belief system on our own, instead of like having parents, say, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to believe. But my mom wasn't having it. And so she decided that we needed to get baptized because she had her beliefs. And so I wasn't like, I didn't understand it. I didn't know why, like all of a sudden my mom was like, this, if you don't do this, this is going to happen. You don't do this. Like all of a sudden she got on this train when I was like 13 and I was like, wait, what? And I didn't really get it. And, so it didn't mean much, and it's like, and I know that there are people who are devoutly Catholic, and I'm like not knocking on your beliefs, but for me personally, it just didn't vibe with me. I just, having to go to a priest to relay my prayers to the Creator. I'm like, but why can't I just like pray to him directly? Like, why do I have to confess to another human things that I'm not so proud of? Like, why can't I just do that directly, with the Creator? Like, I didn't get certain things. And although I did keep a pretty close relationship, with my Creator, I was just, I don't know, after a while, because of the people who claim to represent Christianity, I don't think they did such a good job of that. And so I started to mix the religion with the people, thinking that, well, if that's how the religion's going to be, not knowing that they were just doing their own thing, just trying to distort things for their own personal gain, or wanting to get something out of you, or to get you to do something. And they would just like twist words, and they would twist things. And so I, as a teen, I was like, you know what? I'm all done with that. So I like try to run away, from it. But it seemed like throughout my whole journey, this whole spiritual journey of like, learning about all different types of religions and all these, different beliefs. And also, my intuition plays a big role in things. That I knew that there was still this, that Jesus was a real person. And I still knew that the Creator is out there. But I was like, there are some people that are just like, I know they're twisting your words. Like, what? What's the truth? What's the wow? And here comes the thunder. That's cool. I live apropos. I love it. So I'm like, like show me. Like I don't want to have this trauma or this shadow over this, Creator coming in human form, wanting to basically help everybody. I want to see that. I want that truth. I don't want somebody else's twisted words, or like, making stuff up that's like not even in the Bible, or taking things out of context, like I said, for their own personal things. So I was like what is the truth? So then I actually had to read the book myself because I'm, growing up Catholic, it's kind of like discouraged, like don't read the book. And then, obviously, I had become an English teacher, and I started thinking about it. I read all these books of like from fiction to nonfiction to like different books, different religions. And I'm like, but the one book that I hadn't read was the book that my mom wanted me to become a part of. But interesting enough, you weren't supposed to read it. So I was like, what the deuce? So I'm like, you know what? I'm all about like, read, try to understand, learn, use your intuition. I'm like, you know what? I need to get over this shadow. I need to get over this trauma. So, and I don't want a bad experience to be the reason that I decide, I don't want to have a relationship with my creator. So I started reading the book, started going to these classes, and I found a church that I actually like. And it's not like the Catholic Church, where it's like, not like a big old cathedral and everybody has to get super dressed up. And then, if you don't donate, money, everybody's like looking at you. It's not that kind of church. It's like literally just trying to be like Jesus, trying to, spread that camaraderie and togetherness, and like, let's, basically get back to where we were before we're all like, how the world is right now. And I like that, they, it's come as you are, a lot of people, they're just, wearing jeans, or, they wear their whatever, at church, and they're just there not to impress other people. They don't pass around like a donation plate, so that everybody's like staring at you. Why didn't you donate this? It's all about like, what do you feel comfortable with? You go donate if you go feel like donating. Just like, with my donation time here on my live chat, I'm like, if you guys feel like it, go ahead. I'm never shaming people on here. And I always thought that also didn't sit right with me when, I was growing up. I'm like, why are people being shamed because they're not giving enough? I'm like, if people give, they give because they want to. They shouldn't be forced to, so I didn't really get that. So I like the way this church has been. And so I also expressed to you guys like some powerful like downloads that I got. Like, I wasn't even trying to channel something. It just kind of like hit me. And I don't know. I think I've already shared it. And if I didn't, I shared it in a video with my patrons, and I'm actually releasing that video for the rest of everybody on Monday. So if you want to watch it, it's like where I actually like describe like this powerful vision that I had, and I couldn't stop it. I was like, it's the first time I couldn't stop something. Like normally, like there's spirits around or whatever, like ETs. I'm like, whatevs, I can turn it off and I could turn it on when I want, but I couldn't turn it off, and it was kind of freaking me out, but it was really powerful. And then I've had some really powerful dreams, the kind where, they're more than a dream. And I was like, okay. And I kept feeling like from, main man Jesus, he's like, you got to get baptized in a lake. And I was like, heck yeah. Because I was a surfer. I want to be out in nature's bathtub, right? I want to be out in the water. And since we don't have an ocean near here, we got lakes. We got a lot of lakes. And so I was like, yeah. So I was super excited about it. And so, okay, go to get baptized in the lake. Some people from the church showed up, and I thought that was amazing. Some people don't even know me, but they're there for me. And I thought that was fantastic. I felt like so special. And so there's this man named Pastor Ernie, and he's the one that baptized me. And he's pretty cool. He's Apache. And we went out into the water. I thought the water would be cold because it's lake water. It felt like bath water to me. It's like I wasn't even feeling water. So I went out and there's all these rocks in the lake. And so Pastor Ernie was like, whoa, you're going like all natural, because I kicked off my flip flops. And I was like, dude, I used to surf at a place called Old Man's. It's nothing but rocks. I was like, I got this. Like, so we went out like waist deep out into the lake. And I don't know, I felt so happy. Like I felt like, I don't know, like I'm finally, like I'm listening, like I'm really listening, and I'm doing what's being asked. And so when I went under the water, because I got fully submerged, I was under the water probably for like half a second. It was like, ploop, you're underwater, you're out, right? But for that half a second, how do I describe it to you guys? I felt like time slowed way down, and I felt like I was back in San Clemente, back when I drowned. I wasn't freaking out when I was underwater. So when I say it's back when I drowned, I didn't feel like I was drowning again. I'm just, it was going back to that time when I had drowned in San Clemente. And I was surfing on a day that I shouldn't have gone out because it was double overhead. It was like 7, 8 foot storm waves, really powerful, deep undertow, things like that. And I took my shortboard out instead of my longboard, which I'm used to. And I'm not used to riding a shortboard. So it was like recipe for disaster. Obviously, no other surfers, nobody was in the water because of all the rip currents. And I'm not afraid of a rip current because you could use it like an expressway to get you out to like, past the breakers. But so I was out there, and with all these things lining up, even my intuition being like, dude, don't go out there. But I was like, dude, I'm going to be out there and I'm going to have the whole waves to myself. And something was like, don't go out there. And I was like, okay, I'm going out. So I go out. And I end up, getting hit wave after wave after wave. And I'm just like getting sucked under. And I'm running out of oxygen. Pretty soon I'm out of oxygen. And I'm like, okay, here's where I die. And I just like I had just like decided I wasn't scared anymore. I was like, okay, well, here's where I die. I mean, I don't have any control over that. And so I had all these things going through my head like, oh my gosh, like nobody knows I'm out here. Are they ever going to find my body? I don't have my license. Are they ever going to identify me? Like, I'm probably going to be fish food. And it was like all the stupid things that I don't know why it was passing through my mind as I'm like dying, and then all of a sudden, like underneath the water, like my eyes were open and I was just like drowning. And it was bright white light, like if the ocean was set in this, like, I don't know, like somebody had light bulbs in the ocean or something. It was just so bright, to where you didn't even know you were in an ocean anymore, and it's almost like you're in nothing but light. And I had this feeling like I'm not going to die today, although I was okay with it. I was just like, at some point I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. But at some point when I realized I have no control over it, I just was like, okay, and I wasn't scared. And I was just like, here comes the water into my lungs and we'll see what happens. But I felt like this, like, not today, and kind of pushing me to the surface and somehow pushed me towards the shore, and made it onto the shore, threw up a lot of water, and then I proceeded to pass out for like a couple hours on the shore because, yeah, drowned and all. So when I was getting baptized and I was underwater for that half a second, that whole experience is what I went through. It's like I went through it again, but this time watching it instead of panicking, feeling like I'm in it. And I didn't, it wasn't like a voice that I could hear, but more like, I don't know how to describe it. Like you feel it, like feel a voice talking instead of hear a voice talking. And it was like, I raised you up then, I raise you up now. Basically, like feeling like I saved you then, I save you now. You were safe then, wasn't going to let you drown, and you're safe now. And I don't know, I felt just this overwhelming sense of joy and peace, and like I'm on the right track, and like I'm just such a deeper connection. Felt my intuition even so much deeper. And when I got out, there was like, cause it's at a lake and there's people staying in cabins at the lake. There was a family that was leaving. And as they're leaving, they're like, hey guys, they said, hey, we have one more, ice cream bar that we have to get rid of because we're leaving now. Does anybody want it? And I was like, I'll take it. And it turned out to be mint chocolate chip, which is my favorite ice cream. And I feel like that was like, you know, Jesus, the creator, being like, high five, ice cream for you. I was like, thank you. So we went out into the forest because that's where I feel the creator most, is in plants and herbs and animals, obviously, which is why I do so much herby stuff. Like that's where I feel the closest connection. So we go out into the forest, and it was just like, I don't know, like I was seeing things more literally seeing things more clearly. My eyes have been kind of like getting a little more out of focus in like the past year. Not bad. And I do my eye exercises, and I try to do my sun gazing and stuff, but it felt like my vision got really clear that day. My literal vision, but also like my spiritual vision. I was like, whoa, because like my eyes are getting better now. And I haven't changed any of the things that I do to help my eyes. So I thought that's really cool. And just, I don't know, I've had interesting experiences in the house and around the property. And even when we went to my property now, just the feeling of more beings around me, not like deceased beings, but just like energy beings around me. And maybe that it's not that it's more, because I think we're always surrounded by multitudes of energies in all different dimensions, but I feel like I'm more aware of them now. And it's not an ominous feeling. It's more like a protective feeling. And so I was like, that's cool. So I really had to sit in that energy. I had to like, process all the stuff that was happening. And then on Sunday, our buddy that we're going to meet up with in Colorado, he was putting out like a big like lunch for him and all his friends. He invited us over. He went fishing down in Mexico, and so he had caught some red snapper, and he was like, "We're gonna have fish tacos." He caught like these huge shrimps, and so we sat around with friends, we talked, we ate fish and lots of other good stuff and spicy vegetables, and got to check out his garden, and his greenhouse are like exploding and going amazeballs. But yeah, it was just like really nice to sit in all of that. And then afterwards to just like, just chill and eat some like fresh food from the ocean after literally getting baptized in a lake, like just all this watery energy. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, I got to relay this to everybody. I'm trying my best, but it's like so much that I'm having a hard time putting into words because it's so much feeling. But yeah, I'm really proud. And this time, like I did it for me, where last time it's like my parent being like, you're going to be doing this, and this is my belief now. And now I feel like I have more of a personal connection, and it's not excuse me, clouded by trauma or a shadow. Like that's been released. And so it was very releasing to have like a shadow go away, a trauma, just like finally releasing that, being able to have, more of this, connection in my heart space for him. And, yeah. And being able to do it for me. And I was explaining this to my friend Heather, and she was like, don't worry, I understand it more than you know. And I was like, cool. So anyway, I thought I would relay that to you guys. Because yeah, it was a big spiritual experience for me. I'm still like riding on that. Like I'm still like feeling a lot of things. So when I can start to put more into words, then I'll share even more. But for now, I think that's the best I can do. Okay, let me go back here. Back to when you guys were talking about chocolate. Oops, I went back too far. We've gone too far. Lila says, did we link all of those options on the website? Because if we didn't, we should. We'll chat on the signal, make sure we got everything copacetic. Costolini says, dang, and you get taxed on the remaining 50%. Yeah, it's pretty bummy. Well, this says, it looks like a really cool moment. Aw, thank you. And she said, Time Harvest, you on Insta. Time Harvest has got my old account banned. Ah, my new one is RQINETO. And Lulu said, whoa, like elementals? Yeah. So, okay. I told you guys that around like Riley's birthday, which was at the beginning of July, like when I was making his cheesecake, that I felt so much energy in the kitchen that I thought I was going to faint. And then I thought, well, maybe it's like lack of sleep, or maybe, you know, maybe I'm deficient in some mineral I'm not taking in through my food or something. But when I left the kitchen, I felt just fine. But every time I went back in the kitchen, I was like, ooh. So it's kind of like that energy where, I don't know, I just feel more intensely. Maybe that's it. Not that I don't feel, I'm always feeling, I always have my little spidey sense going, but it's more intense. All these energies around me. And it's not just people that have crossed over. And it's not just ETs either. Yeah, it could be like elementals. It could be angelic realm. It could be, I don't know. But the interesting thing is, I'm usually pretty good at seeing, like, you know, if I'm like, oh, that's my grandmother standing over there, or oh, that's a, you know, an Arcturian over there or something. I'm usually really good at seeing, but now it's like I feel it so much, and I can't make out what they look like. It's all I know is it just looks like pure energy. It feels like really intense energy, but it doesn't feel malicious. It feels, like I said, protective. It feels good. It feels, you know, but it's just a little extra sometimes. So I notice it does happen a lot in the kitchen, but I'm like, you know what? I'm in the kitchen a lot because I'm doing stuff in there like all the time. I'm either making something, baking something, crafting something, brewing up a tea. I'm always doing something in the kitchen. So that's probably like, besides the bedroom and the yard, that's like my other favorite place, I guess, is, you know, I'm just in the kitchen. And I noticed it's in one area of the kitchen, and it's right where we have a digital picture frame that has like a slideshow of pictures going across. It's like right there. Probably why that picture frame gets turned off from time to time by unseen hands. Um, so I notice when I'm over there, I feel this like I'm standing in four people or four energies kind of feeling like, and I'm like, oh, and then I back away and then I don't feel it. And then I go forward, then I feel them. And I'm like, sorry if I'm standing on you guys, but I need to get into the drawer here. I'm kind of doing something here. So it's kind of like they're there. And then when I get ready for bed, I kind of feel them around, like surrounding the bed. And again, it's not scary at all. It's just, I don't know, I just feel these energies more intensely when I'm out about in the forest, just identifying plants, playing with plants. That's what I do all day. Basically, I'm like, ooh, who are you? How many petals do you have? How many leaves do you have? I feel them there too. And I feel the energy of the plants more intensely, which is why I'm drinking my tea so slowly because of all the plants that I've been here, but I feel them more intensely. I feel my baked goods more intensely, like every ingredient in there. Or when I make something, when I'm doing arts and crafts or making something for my shop, it's like I really feel every energy that's in there. And it's like, can be kind of dizzy. It's like, I don't even need to like, you know, hang out with Mary Jane anymore because I feel like about Mary Jane all the time now. I'm like, whoo, that's an intense energy. Um, and then Time Harvest is Tara. Costelina says there's something coming in October. I don't know what, but I can feel it. Something huge. So, although I can't put my finger on an exact month. I think that as a collective, we're all feeling something like massive. And I don't know. I'm like, is like Jesus coming back to say what's up? Or is that what's happening? Um, but it's kind of like that. Like, you know, everybody keeps talking about, you know, the new earth, and, when everything gets changed over, when, light prevails, which I feel like light has already prevailed. But, as things go, the darkness is a sore loser. So the negative polarity is like, I'm taking you all with me, which is why everything is so cray cray. um, so yeah, I feel like it's something big like that. And I don't feel any scariness. I don't feel trepidation. I don't feel like it's, going to be bad for humanity. I feel like it's good for humanity, whatever this big thing is that's happening. But I feel like it starts to ramp up next year. Like, I mean, maybe it's already been ramping up, but I mean, when it, maybe just in my own personal view, or maybe it's the collective's view, where we just really start seeing the changes. And I'm hopeful for all the good that is to come, or at least it's already here. It's just hard for us to see because it gets cluttered with all the crap that's out there. And of course, the crap is what gets promoted on social media, news outlets, everybody trying to promote fear and like, oh, this is coming, or the big asteroid is coming, or the big earthquake is coming and we're all doomed. I don't feel the doomed thing. I feel like they want people to create that reality, but I don't feel that that's the reality. I feel like it's this really good thing, and it's it's doomed for darkness, doomed for negative polarity, not doomed for us. So I'm like, that's fine with me. Start it all over. I want to go frolic naked in the garden. I mean, I did that up at my property. I don't think anybody saw, but anyway, that's what I want to do. I just want to go frolic in the forest all day naked. Like, just start it all over now. Let's do it. But yeah, so if you're feeling October, you might be rightfully so. But yeah, maybe towards the end of the year, maybe start. I can't even say what. I can't even put my finger on. It's just a feeling. I'm so much feeling right now. I used to be so like seeing, but now it's like I'm being overwhelmed by feeling, feeling energies, just feeling something. Like sometimes when we're watching, we don't really have TV, but Riley has a server, and then we can watch like full episode, like all the episodes of a TV show or a movie, like on his server. And so like sometimes we'll be watching something and I just like have this overwhelming sense of feeling about something. I'm like, something is happening now. I can't say what. What is happening? But it's like, I don't know. It's so difficult because I would be able to see something unfolding, and now I just feel. I'm all feeling. I'm all feels. I got the feels, man. um, Costalini said something huge. Lila says, return to the Garden of Eden frolicking birthday suits. Yes. And then that'll be the name of my new channel. Return to Eden in frolicking birthday suits. Welcome to the frolicking birthday suits. When I was up in my property, because I mean, it's 40 acres. There's lots of trees and gullies and stuff, so I can hide from prying eyes. And there's not many prying eyes out there, I don't think. I don't know. I can't speak for the nomads that live in trees, but I was like, okay, well, like down in here, like in like some gullies, I'm like, nobody could possibly see me because I can barely see out, and and it's so I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go Nikki. I was like, because I just like, I don't like clothes, and I didn't like clothes when I was a little kid. I was like, I'd run out of the house. My mom said that she had to track me down because I kept getting naked, because I was like, I don't like clothing. Clothing sucks. Why do we have to wear these things? And so yeah, I'd be like, but I always had like my bathrobe with me, so that in case I could hear a car like pulling up near my property or something, I could just like quickly like clothe myself and just pretend I'm like Hugh Hefnering it like around my property or something. But I was just like, it was just like this cool feeling. I'm like, I am outside right now and I am naked and it's awesome. And hello, squirrel. I am Nikki. Hello, Mr. Cow. I'm Nikki. And it was just such a freeing feeling. We need to get back to that. I was like, I totally understand what these nudist colonies are trying to get after. I understand it now. I thought they were a bunch of weirdos. They probably are, but I understand. Lilith is, you kill me. Oh, that's what I'm here for. All right, you guys. So if you would like to do more donation, and you have some questions about anything, especially herby, that's my forte, then yeah, or maybe you just want to get a feeling off of me. Because yeah, all I can do is I get feelings. I just have feelings of all the energies that aren't leaving this house. So many feelings. And man, I have told you guys before about like my property has a lot of spirit activity because of all the peoples that used to live there. There's like literally there's Anasazi, there's Navajo, there's the passing Apache, you know, through my property. But it's like now it's even more intense. So when I'm there, I'm like, don't faint now. It's just so much more intense. I don't know. I just feel it all more. Costolini says, I learned about nude cruises the other day, and all I can think about are the security guys screening them as they come on and off. Dude, wow. I wouldn't put it past them to do something like that. People are literally naked getting on the cruise ship, and whoa, I'm gonna have to have you pass through this metal detector. Empty your pockets, sir. Do you have any knives, guns, or ammo with you? None of your business, but also, wouldn't you like to know where I'm hiding that? Wow. They would probably still have metal detectors, still frisking people. The whole world's naked. It just don't make sense. That don't make no damn sense. Costelina says the TSA pat downs. I know, right? Oh my gosh. What do you got under that fold, sir? I'm gonna have to check your back pocket. Lilith says, you down to chat after the live? I actually have to pack for Colorado tomorrow, so I have to get my clothings together. But before bed, I could probably do some signal posts back and forth. But yeah, I gotta get ready for the trip. We got stuff to do with the Jeep and everything. But otherwise, I would be like, so down for it, girl. Time Harvest says, guns are nice. She said, oh yeah, never mind. But yeah, next time, girl. And then I'll be able to tell you all about the Colorados. Guns are nice. I have quite the collection. My dad was like, when they came to visit, he's like, what do you need all of these for? And I'm like, to shoot. He's like, what are you waiting for, like World War III? And I was like, I just like, they go boom. I like that they go boom. I like that you hit something, go boom. You know, just like when I was a little kid, you know, with my staying with my grandparents in the summertime on their property, and my Uncle Danny had me use his BB gun, and so we'd line up my grandparents' beer cans because they drank a lot of Coors Light, Miller Light, and so they had, or sometimes it was Miller High Life, but anyway, they had a lot of cans. Is what I'm trying to say. So I got to like shoot them off the fence post, and it was just such a cool feeling to be like, haha, I shot that can. Can's not getting up. What now, can? Psh, you know? So I don't know. I always thought it was just fun, you know, practicing like target practice and seeing how good you can get it. But also, you know, obviously being safe and everything. But and I like that, you know, different guns shoot differently. Some, you know, they carry their weight differently, and different, you know, calibers have a different kick, but also it depends on, you know, if something is, you know, a hollow point or full metal jacket, or, you know, I don't know. I just find all that stuff fascinating. It's fun for me. Plus I like the looks of some of them, especially like my dirty hairy gun, which is probably my favorite. She says, when you get back. All right. Will do. And Time of Harvest says, it's the magic stick, just like Harry Potter. You aim and it goes burn, burn. I know, right? He said, yes, the kids love them. Why wouldn't they? That can went bye-bye now. That target sure isn't getting up. By the way, in a lot of my YouTube shorts, you could watch Riley and I having fun with our little boomsticks. Like, you know, making sure that those cardboard pieces aren't getting up again. Alrighty, well, if we do not have any more questions for donation, I thought that we can go out in the rumbliness. I don't think it's raining yet, but we could go out in the rumbliness and do our little meditation out there. Let's see. You know, Yerba Santa has me, we'll bring this with me, but I'm kind of feeling something a little different for our meditation. Okay, so let's head outside. I got my flippy floppies. We're good. Okay. We'll just grab this. Yummy, yummy. Okay, you guys are coming with me. Lila says, don't get struck. Oh, don't worry. I've been electrocuted a few times now. I'm sure I'm immune to lightning bolts at this point. Besides, I like fire. But no, I don't want to get struck by lightning. Actually, I was out on my property before there was anything else on my property besides a tent. And I was sleeping in the tent back when you're having a crazy monsoon, and the lightning and the thunder were so loud. I like went deaf for a little bit, and the lightning bolts were literally like cracking like a couple feet outside the tent. And I was like, this is so cool. So yeah, I've slept with lightning before. Oh, hey guys. Well, we have a team coming with us. Okay. Let's go. Ooh. And I got my Yerba Santa. Oh, it is starting to rain. That's fabulous. Well, we'll just be here on the porch, looking out at the beautiful garden. Maybe I'll put you guys right here, maybe. There we go. Maybe you could watch the doggos run around. Okay, so let's do our meditation. I'll be here. I guess Inky is going to stay with me. Okay, go ahead and find yourselves a nice, comfortable space, a place you'll be undisturbed for the next several minutes. You could be laying on your bed, sitting in a chair, seated on the floor. Maybe you're out on the porch and it's raining outside, which is amazeballs. Or you are lying underneath your favorite tree, whichever is most comfortable for you. And as you get yourself situated, just feeling into that space, how it feels on your skin, your body. Perhaps listening to the thunder. Go ahead and bring your awareness to your breath. Feeling the rise and fall of your chest. And if you'd like, go ahead and place one hand over your heart, one hand on your belly. And as you breathe in, see if you can breathe more deeply into your body, down into the belly, down into your toes. And become aware of the sounds that surround you. You might hear a dog barking in the distance. Perhaps you might hear cars driving by, honking their horns. Maybe you hear children outside playing. Maybe you hear the sounds of the people within your house or your roommates. But each of these sounds helps us to ground ourselves. Sometimes on this spiritual journey, we can get so caught up on the etheric, the spiritual body, wanting to obtain more and more knowledge of the dimensions and the unseen world, that we forget about the world that we live in, our world, the third dimensional world. And although it's good to have an awareness, to want to learn about the other dimensions, the other energies, we cannot lose sight of our own time in this human form. So it is now that we ground ourselves in our humanness. We have all the time in the world to practice our spirituality and the etheric realms. But for right now, we are listening to the thunder, to the rain, perhaps the feeling of a furry or feathery companion that you have. Feeling into how your body is doing, checking in. Do you have any aches and pains? Where are you feeling those? What is your mood at this moment? Do you have anything weighing on your shoulders, on your mind? And where do you feel that in your body? Are we holding on to things that are outside of our control? And if so, let's give them back to the earth. She knows what to do with it. She can help it transmute into something beautiful, perhaps like a garden, or flowers for the pollinators, food for the animals. In this moment, we feel into that breath. As we inhale, breathing in life, breathing in gratitude for all the beautiful, wonderful experiences we've had on this planet. And although it may seem that at times it's easier to name all our unfortunate experiences, all the things that we don't want to have, for now, let's take a look at what we have. The people that had come into our life, even for a brief period of time, and thanking them for that moment, for experiences we were able to have, for adventures we were able to have, even if those adventures were in our own mind. Sometimes we don't have the ability to travel far, but we can travel as far as we want in our own imagination. Having gratitude for that imagination. Gratitude for our ability to feel, to have a sense about things, to be able to see a kindred connection into a tree that you might be passing by, into the garden that you're cultivating, into that friend that you talk to on the phone. Just sit with it. Continue to breathe. Continue to listen to the rain and the beauty of our seasons. And for us in the Northern Hemisphere, we have the season of summer and all that entails. Having gratitude that we notice these change of seasons. Noticing when the leaves begin to turn. Noticing when the flowers bloom. When different birds are coming to your area at different times. Noticing when your hair gets longer. Noticing when friends call. Maybe ones you haven't heard from in quite some time. And sometimes our experiences aren't something we would write a book about, but they're meaningful nonetheless. A butterfly that lands on your shoulder, the smile of a stranger, being grateful for all of it, because this is the world we live in. And there are many beautiful aspects to this world, but we have to have eyes to see it, just like we have eyes to see the unseen realm. And so as the thunder continues to roll, allow it to bring you back into the body. And as the rain begins to fall, allow it to wash away all the worries of the present moment, so that you can be here, grateful for all you have in this moment. And when you are ready, go ahead and bring your awareness back fully into the body, feeling into those fingers and toes, maybe having a nice deep breath and a nice big stretch. All right, you guys, hope you enjoyed today's chat. I missed you guys. I'm so glad that I finally got to share with you what happened last week. But yeah, watch out, Vader. Excuse me, sir. The dogs are all up here with me. I think you guys can see. Hold on. See, there's Vader. There's Liam. Got Inky down here. Vader winning loves. Yes, hello, sir. Yeah, hello, sir. All right, you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. We're going to start packing now and getting ourselves ready. I will definitely share the trip with everyone. So I'll try to take as much photos and video as I can. Maybe I will be able to get some of that into like a short, or maybe even turn it into a video. Definitely try to do a jeeping video. But yeah. Hope you guys have a fabulous week. Time harvested excellent. People are saying, whoa. Anyway, have a great week, you guys. Enjoy the rain. Lisa Tara, enjoy the trip. Keep us updated. I sure will. You guys are so welcome. Thank you to everybody who allowed me to answer questions today. Have a great rest of your day. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Stay wild, my friends. Peace out. Bye.